Good afternoon, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. Today is August 4th, 2020, and I want to share this graphic with you guys about the video I did last night. As I was getting ready to go to bed, I started seeing some things, and I got up. I wanted to share with everybody what I was seeing. But sometimes if we don't have a visual graphic in front of us, we're not going to be able to follow exactly what is being shared. So I'm trying to put together a some type of graphic that will give you kind of the full explanation of what I'm seeing. And this is not my strong point as far as being able to do really nice videos and graphics. This, for example, I'm doing in the Paint program, just putting together my thoughts, trying to get it into a timeline that we can understand. Of course, I'm going to explain this to you. I'm also in the midst of all kinds of sounds I can't control. I was on one side of the house, and on the other side of the house there's a dog. Our neighbor has a dog they keep chained up, and he barks all day. And so I'm outside. I'm on the other end of the house, but we're outside, so we've got the sound of birds going. We've got the dogs barking. Cars are going to be coming across. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of different things that interrupt. This is the best I can do. I wish I had a soundproof studio, air conditioned, of course, down here in Yucatan, Mexico. But I don't. Maybe I need to modify that. I should have done that a while ago. I do have an office in my house, but it's not soundproof, and it's not air conditioned. So anyway, I don't want to be too long. You know that when I do my videos, I like to keep it short. I like to get the information out there, get right to it. I know that everybody's got, their time is very important, and so I do my best to get the information out as quickly as I can, which I'm going to do now. So, like I shared last night, okay, we were, we've been trying to understand the 70 weeks of Daniel and the 70 years of Israel from the order to restore Jerusalem. Daniel 9:24 through 27 says from the order to restore Jerusalem, 70 weeks are determined. And so, we were watching. Number one, we're watching from 1948, and that brought us to 2017, 2018, and when the rapture did not occur at the beginning of that time frame, we began looking at other options as far as the, when did the timeline start in Israel? Was it when they formed their government in 1949? What was the marker? Well, based on everything else I'm seeing right now, I saw something that connects us to Pentecost Sunday on June 4th, 2017. Now, if we go from the fig tree blooming, the rebirth of Israel, in 1948, and May 14th, 1948 was the fifth day of the second month. And so 1 month later, on the sixth day of the third month, was Pentecost. Pentecost in 1948. From the order to restore Jerusalem, 70 weeks are determined. So Pentecost 1948 is the first Pentecost. The first Pentecost after Israel was restored. And then if we go from there, 70 Pentecosts, 1948, the first Pentecost, it brings us to 2017. the 70th Pentecost. And I shared this last night in my video. 1948 is the first Pentecost, 1949 is the second, 1950 is the third, 1951 is the fourth, 1952 is the fifth, 1953 is the sixth, 1954 is the seventh, 1955 is the eighth, 1956 is the ninth, and 1957 is the 10th. If we go to 1958, it's the 11th Pentecost. And that means 2018 would be the 71st Pentecost. So the 70th Pentecost was Pentecost of 2017, June 4th. Now, this is what I saw last night. Okay, that's our 70-year time frame. 70 weeks are determined. Then what I saw last night connects us with what we're watching in December, Hanukkah, connects us exactly to June 4th, 2017. Okay, now I'm going to share with you down below a 7-year timeline. It's a 7-year timeline starting on June 4th, 2017, Pentecost. We know that 2 months later we had the Great American Eclipse, 8/21/17, and then we had 9/23/17 was the Revelation 12 sign. And then moving 3.5 years later, or 3 years later, we're coming into Hanukkah of 2020, connected to the Great Conjunction on December 21st, 2020, the Great Conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. And this connects us to the war in heaven and the man-child being devoured by the red dragon. And Saturn is the one recognized as the one who devours the children. Okay, and then going forward another 3.5 years, we come to the Great American Eclipse on April 8th, 2024. And the end of the timeline is June 4th, 2024. And I will share with you how we got to that. So what I saw last night is that if we go back from Hanukkah, December 14th, 2020, we go back 1,290 days. It brings us exactly to June 4th, 2017, which was Pentecost, the 70th Pentecost. And so this really opened up something new that I had never seen before, a 70-year timeline plus the 7 years of the times of tribulation. We know that the 7 years of tribulation is divided into a time, the beginning of sorrows and the beginning time of the tribulation, and then the great tribulation is going to be the final 3.5 years connected to the reign of the Antichrist. 3.5 years connected to the reign of the Antichrist. So what I saw last night is from June 4th, 2017, there's 1,290 days bringing us to Hanukkah. There's a 7-day interval between Hanukkah and the solstice. The solstice being the day of the Antichrists. The solstice being the day of the Great Conjunction. The war in heaven, and it looks to me to be the beginning of the reign of the Antichrist, with the way everything is lining up here. And then from the reign of the Antichrist, the solstice, if we go forward 1,260 days, and the time frame of the reign of the Antichrist is given us exactly 1,260 days. And from the solstice, go forward 1,260 days, it brings us to June 4th, 2024. And this is the beginning day in 2017. It's a 7-year timeline to the day with 1,290 days to Hanukkah. There's a 7-day interval between Hanukkah and the solstice, between what looks to be, and this is my interpretation, is the rapture on Hanukkah and the rise of the Antichrist at the Great Conjunction in the solstice. And that begins the reign of the Antichrist and the final 1260 days. And we will not be here for the reign of the Antichrist. That is not something that we're going to be seeing. But it is close, so that we can see all of these signs, how they come together, that the rapture will happen just prior to the rise of the Antichrist. And it will be because of the rapture that the chaos will take over, and then the Antichrist will step in to bring order out of that chaos. And then they will need a world leader to lead them through the time of the tribulation. And that is the beginning of the rise of the Antichrist, the reign of the Antichrist, which lasts for 1260 days. Another thing we had been seeing about this, and that marks December 14th, 2020 as the exact middle point on all of this, is that the two great American eclipses between August 21st, 2017 and April 8th, 2024, if you go from the first great American eclipse and go forward 1211 days, there is another total solar eclipse on December 14th, which is midweek Hanukkah. And then you go forward another 1211 days, and it brings you to the total solar eclipse of April 8th, 2024. So all three total solar eclipses, which are all three over the Americas, because we've got two over North America and one over South America, three great American eclipses are in perfect conjunction with each other, divided in the midway point on Hanukkah. Okay, now many people consider that once the rapture happens, 7 years still remain. And I have shared with you over and over and over again why that is not biblical, and it's not even possible now with everything we are seeing with COVID-19, coronavirus, the world lockdown, and we've got the vaccines coming, and they're preparing the mark of the beast, the tattoo, the RFID chip that goes together with an obligatory, mandatory vaccine that they are going to push, just as Donald Trump said the other day. They've got their military ready to distribute the vaccine that is going to be coming. So what do we see? We see the rise of the Antichrist. We see the beginning of the mark of the beast. How could there be, after the rapture, 7 years when the reign of the Antichrist is only 3.5 years? Now, for those who do not know and want to study this, I'm going to share with you in a very easy way to search. Okay? The 3.5 year reign of the Antichrist is confirmed in these passages. Revelation 11, 1-2. Daniel 7:25, Daniel 12:7, Revelation 12:6, Revelation 12:14, and Revelation 13:5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 passages that confirm a 3.5 year reign of the Antichrist. Okay, and this is how we can see that once the rapture happens, only 3.5 years remain. Because at the rapture, the Antichrist will rise to power, and he's only given 3.5 years. And so here we have a 7-year timeline that takes us back, even though it was not necessarily noticeable on a specific day. Today, the tribulation began. What we do know is that the times of tribulation have been increasing over the previous years. Going back to the blood moons, going back to the time of Obama and Pope Francis in 2015, going back to 2016 when Obama divided Jerusalem and failed to veto the vote against Jerusalem and betrayed Jerusalem. on December 23rd, 2016. And then we have the Great American Eclipse, the Revelation 12 sign, and the increasing disasters, natural disasters, increasing wars, increasing persecution. I mean, going back even to 2014, they began all the beheadings in Syria. And we saw how all of the Christians were cast out, and the persecution began to grow. And even now we're seeing they just started burning Bibles in Portland, Oregon. And it's illegal to get together for a Bible study, but it's not illegal to gather in the streets to burn Bibles. See, the reign of the Antichrist is almost here. I mean, we are watching what is happening around the world. The spirit of the Antichrist is taking over. Okay? And the other thing that I shared here on June 4th, 2024 is that I have it shown there as the days of Noah, because that is the 27th day of the second month on the Hebrew calendar, which according to Genesis 8:11 is the end of the flood. The 27th day of the second month was the end of the flood. Now I'm going to pause this a minute. Sorry, these announcers go by. It's uncontrollable. I hope he stops. So, okay, so this is what I wanted to share with you guys. I'm seeing a 70-year time frame that took us to Pentecost on June 4th, 2017. We have a seven-year timeline of the 7 years of tribulation. And we have 1,290 days that brings us to Hanukkah, which is also the midpoint between the two great American eclipses. So there's a lot of focus on December, on Hanukkah, the total solar eclipse, the Geminid meteor shower, the great conjunction of December 21st, which really speaks volumes to the war in heaven between the man-child Jupiter and the dragon Saturn. This being the beginning of the reign of the Antichrist, 1,260 days. And this time frame ends up on a 7-year timeline from June 4th, 2017 to June 4th, 2024. Okay, so the 3.5-year reign of the Antichrist is the key to understanding all of this, because we know that once the church is removed, the restrainer is going to be taken away, and then the Antichrist will fully manifest. Okay? And once he is fully manifest, he has 3.5 years. This is why the rapture is mid-tribulation on the 7 years. It is pre-great tribulation and pre-wrath. The great tribulation and the time of the wrath of God is 3.5 years. Okay? So I just wanted to share this with you guys. I hope this blesses you. I hope this is easier to understand than just what I shared last night. And if you are blessed by this and able to see this with me, please share this with your friends and family and your loved ones. I pray you guys are blessed tonight. This is Steve Fletcher with the trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.